This episode of the T4 Show is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly. All streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/GFQ. Hey everyone, welcome to the T4 Show, episode number 148 for July 3rd, 2013. Tomorrow is the 4th of July, so first and foremost, I want to wish everybody out there, especially all the veterans and the people that have served, a happy 4th of July, and thank you for their service. Want to get right to everything we need to get to today because I'm sure Colm has a lot of barbecuing to do while he checks his text messages on his brand new iPhone 5.
Here it is. Yes, I have returned back to iOS, and I could not be happier, but we will be getting into that. I have the iPhone 5. Yes, I still do have the Note 2. It has become phone number 2.
Can you use it?
Yes, I can use it. It's
Does the Wi-Fi work?
No, sometimes. Right now, yes, it's working right now. Not on the network I want, but it is working, to say the least.
Well, you know, you made an odd choice. You told me you were going to at least wait till the iPhone 5S or 6 or whatever they call it in the fall. I mean, is that something that still tempts you to switch over? Do you think this is going to be a 5S deal? Like I thought when I got this, I said, well, I had the 4S. I waited a long time. I went to the 5. Now it doesn't look like they're going to physically give us anything from the rumors that I saw in some of the blurry cam photos that they're going to give us anything different with the 5S. Maybe that's what it's going to be called.
Yeah, it seems like it seems like the only thing that I saw that's going to be different is it looks like they're putting their efforts into battery technology because there's been a lot of reports about that, and I think that's well needed because that's the one complaint I hear from people, especially when I ask people how they like their iPhone 5. And the number one thing is that over time it seems that people are having to charge these devices 2 to 3 times a day. Wow! Unfortunately, I have not seemed to have that problem at all. The biggest difference, like I've always said, I love how I have on the Note 2, I have that incredible battery life. But the weirdest thing is if I go to bed with both of these and they're at 80%, if I wake up in the morning, this iPhone is going to be at 79% and this phone will be at 40%. And I don't know why that happens, but it never really bothered me because I had 3 batteries that I was cycling in and out. But now it's noticeable because it's not happening on this iPhone.
Yeah, I believe that's the software. I believe iOS definitely has an advantage, and Android, yeah, you can leave an Android in standby, but it's not really in standby. It's always doing something. But the iPhone, you're right. I could leave this for the next couple of days without touching it. It really will lose a minimum amount of battery. But we jumped right into it without even welcoming Suncast. Andrew is busy tonight getting ready for the 4th of July, but Suncast, John, is here to help us out. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Your camera looks great tonight, by the way.
Thank you. That's always good to hear.
I want to see it again. I didn't see it long enough.
It looks really nice. Did you change lighting or something?
No, didn't do anything different. The only thing I've actually done different is that I zoomed it in a tiny bit. That's all digital zoom, so that I don't know how that would actually make it look better.
I don't know. It looks
great.
You
look closer to the camera. That's what I think.
Yeah, I look closer. Yeah, because I zoomed it in, but it's
usually what I notice is that you look like you always had lipstick on, and now it doesn't look like that. It looks like a normal. Me, I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost because I have no skin color, but yeah. And I'm looking up there, by the way. That's where I watch the feed.
Well, yeah, you look stupid when you do that, by the way.
Yeah.
You should move it so that it's in your line of sight.
He's looking up. I'm looking down at the laptop, and the camera's higher than me. I got to try to glance up every so often. So, you know what? You're kind of an Android fanboy yourself, aren't you, Suncast? You like Android better than iOS?
No. I've had this discussion before, and Android just. I think it's good for the people that are technophobes that really love technology and really want to tinker with stuff. For the average person, I don't think they really care to take the time to do stuff like that. They just want something they can pick up, install their applications, and just use it.
Yeah, but I never hear you really talk one way or the other. Which do you prefer? Personally,
I prefer iPhone. I really do.
Yeah, he has an iPhone 5.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I got a black iPhone right here. I really like it, so.
I don't know why. When I look back, I think to myself, you never really talked about iPhone, or you stayed pretty neutral, unlike Coleman and myself, who've probably
here's the funny thing is that I've been trying for the last 6 months now to get my parents to switch over to an iPhone, because my brother has an iPhone, my sister has an iPhone, I have an iPhone. So it really makes sense to move my parents over to iPhones. And they just have these Motorola Droid 3s, which I find to be one of the worst phones out there. And it's so off-putting to have these Android devices that you hear about it over time that they just start sucking really bad. It'll be great for the first 3, 4, 5 months that you have an Android device, but then you've tinkered around with it so much that it starts doing something really weird, and it's no longer a great phone.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it reminds me of a PC where you have to format it every 6 months, or you have to start over again. And I don't want to do that. My iPhone 4S, I may have restored it. That was because I jailbroke it, and not even because of anything that happened with the actual software. And I jailbroke it once. I had to restore it, and really after that, it was fine. I mean, you get some lag with the older phones with the newer OSs, but with the iPhone 5, I think iOS 7 is still going to be really good on that. So, but there is one Android-based thing that Coleman and I are absolutely in love with, believe it or not, after talking about how Android is not superior to iOS, at least in our opinion, and that's the Ouya. And it's kind of funny how everybody is kind of on the fence about Android and iOS. You have your Android fanboys and you have your iOS fanboys, but Colm, seems like a lot more people do not like the Ouya. There's a lot of complaints about this little $99 box that you and I, maybe it was marketed different than us, because I'm in love with this thing right now.
Yeah. I don't understand how people can even comment to me. I mean, we got I'm not going to credit the person's Twitter, but we got a Twitter today about how they think it's still laggy and a terrible controller. And I was helping out a friend, Gregory, I'll give him a shout out, last night, setting him up, because I think at first you have to realize that it takes a while for some reason for it to read your USB stick. Once that happens, you're good to go. I mean, you can just basically unplug it and plug it in as you want, but he was just blown away with it once again. I just don't see where people are like, expect for $99, what are you expecting here? This isn't one of those high-end devices. And plus, just the main thing I'm doing on it now is just the Plex option on it is like my favorite thing that I use it for.
This is it right here. This is all it is. And this combined with a USB thumb drive that I have in my keychain, carry everywhere. These two things in my backpack, and then, of course, the controller. It's an amazing thing. I'm going to England this weekend, and I'm considering bringing this with me to play some video games in a hotel room, as long as it has an HDMI port on the TV. But really, Colm, this thing, I mean, you convinced me about this. I was just kind of like, I don't know. And then when you started showing me all the ways you can get emulators by default on the OS, I mean, you don't have to tinker around, like you said, or root your phone or jailbreak it or put emulator software on it. When you did that update Monday, it pretty much put everything we needed right there in the OS, correct?
Right, correct. It basically had everything that I was looking for. And the funny thing is I did that. I don't know if this was the update from the other day or today. There was an update where it downloaded, and I thought it would even improve speed.
That was the update yesterday that I told you about, right?
Stuff. I assume that was. I thought it does it automatically, but I guess you have to, because I didn't get to turn it on yesterday. I guess you have to actually physically turn it, like go to that input and move the joystick around for it to happen.
I didn't see anything like that. I know it added another application into the small app store they have right now with all the free apps, but you're right. I pretty much, the first thing I did was you share a Plex account with me where you share your playlist for your TV shows, your movies, and all that stuff. And it streamed right at my work off the Wi-Fi. It reminded me actually a lot of the Apple TV setup. And no, speaking of which, that reminds me of the Mac Pro right there. It has a little fan on the bottom, which, by the way, it only kicked on once. And it was when I was trying to play like I think one of your Blu-ray rips or something, some heavy like 1080p video. It kicked on for like a few seconds, and that was it. But
how loud was it? Was it at the same level as like Xbox or? No, it just, it kind of vibrated a little part of the desk. And I just noticed that because I didn't know if it was my Retina MacBook Pro or that. I thought it was the Retina, but it was off to the side. So
I just looked over. I put my hand underneath it. I felt it to see if it got warm. Nothing, man. It was good. But I will say this. I think it was marketed differently. And I don't know if Ouya made a mistake or not by marketing a little bit off where they should have. But when you got it, you told me this is for retro games. This is for casual gaming. But really, it's really for retro games. If you miss playing your Super NES games, your Nintendo, your Genesis now, we found out about that. Right. Neo Geo, N64, all that stuff, then you are, I mean, $99. It just pretty much plug and play. Pretty cool.
Yeah. One thing that the Genesis emulator, I just wanted to talk about that, is that I had a Genesis pretty much because I was really big into sports games. And for some reason, the sports games, even in this emulation, are just above and beyond everything else. I mean, it's almost like when we were playing the N64 games a lot, like WWF or WWE, No Mercy, and all those games, they were missing, like you saw, the lower thirds. The entrances for the wrestlers was not the same. But when you play those Genesis games, it's almost like a direct copy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seemed like when I did that. NHL 94, and what was the other Genesis game I played? Well, I just played NHL 94 because it's an amazing game, and there's no lag. It looks just like it. As a matter of fact, you mentioned that the N64 games and even the Genesis, when I looked at it, looked like they've been upscaled and made to look really good on a big screen.
Well, oh yeah, it does. It's weird how the games like look better to me. I don't know. It's like every time I've hooked up a retro console to a current LCD TV out there, they've always just I'd be like, wow, I really thought this looked good. But now I'm looking at those games again and being like, yeah, that's how I remember it looking.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't pixelated. It didn't seem like a really, obviously it's not a 3D game, but it didn't seem like it was such a retro 8-bit game that I was expecting on the big screen. So we had a conversation actually in the Facebook comments, and I'm just going to read through a couple of these. Eddie Ray and Ian Hamilton were going back and forth, and we are going to answer more questions. So you guys were nice enough to tweet us and leave Facebook comments. Eddie Ray and Ian Hamilton went back, and Ian asked the question, is the Ouya worth the money solely for the emulation, and can Ouya remove this at short notice if they get legal pressure? Now, they went back and forth saying that the ROMs are legal. They're up there on coolrom.com, and there was another site that someone gave me and went back and forth, and Eddie Ray made the note about, hey, there's emulators in the App Store or the Play Store for Android, so really, no one's really raised a question about emulators or ROMs being legal. You were worried about that with the update yesterday. Remember, right. You Skyped me and said, I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid they're going to take it away. Do you see that being a problem in the future of Ouya having to take that out? Because that would kill this box. It would only just be a Plex box after that.
I mean, yes. I mean, I'm definitely worried about it, but it's like, what else are those emulators up there for? I mean, they're not providing you with the ROMs. I'm assuming, I mean, their whole point of the whole thing, because if you look on the Ouya's main thing, it says like play, discover, and then like make or create. So it's obviously a box they want to open up for people to make things. So maybe they're thinking that you're going to also make retro games and you need an emulator for that. I think that's how they can get around it. But it's weird that the logos are pretty much just straight ripoffs of the logos of those consoles that they're emulating. So yeah, it's scary. I mean, one day there could just be like Nintendo being like, well, we're selling all these games on our Wii U right now, and you're basically offering all of them whenever you want at any time. And they're even offering better option because you're able to basically save game states and basically come back to a game exactly where you were without even having to worry about saving it.
Yeah, that was interesting how you can come out of a game and go right back into it. And I'm not talking about the level or the last save point, but if you're in the ring in No Mercy, it comes back right then and there in the middle of a move or the middle of something you're doing. And I thought that was pretty cool there. They do have the Super GNES thing. You said it looks just like. I'm looking at the Google Play Store. It's been up for a while. It's a light app for free, and it's also a $4 app for $3.99. And also there's a PS1 for $3.75. There's an N64. These emulators have been up here for quite a while. So if they're not going to pull it from the Play Store, I can't imagine. It's the same exact thing. You're talking about this can run Android APKs. You can put any Android APK file, I should say, on the Ouya, and it should play it, right? That's what they're talking about. It's based on Android, I think, 2.3 or 3.0.
Is that what it is?
It's pretty Jelly Bean from what it looked like, or maybe it is Jelly Bean. I don't know.
I thought it was Jelly Bean. Does the chat room know?
I don't.
Oh, we got a lot of feedback here in the chat room, and if you can change your name, by the way, by hitting the menu button and changing your name. So there is a user in there that has some great comments, but I don't know who you are.
I'll read some of those. I want to hear it because maybe we'll learn something about it.
Viewer 6995 says, I got my Ouya today and I've been playing N64 games. He loves it so far. The only thing I don't like is that the button mapping for the N64, the yellow buttons. Yeah. Okay, so what I did when I mapped it is I took that right stick and I basically mapped it to be like that, the yellow right stick that was on an N64 controller. So the up and the down and the left and the right. So that is one thing. That's why I think I love the Genesis one the best, is that one is mapped perfectly. Here, I have the controller here. These buttons on the bottom are almost like the Genesis controllers where it's like A, B, C. So you really need to go into the mapping of each one. The thing that's great is that some of the emulators actually have profiles, so you can actually pick a profile. Like there's one that's like an Xbox 360 profile, a PS3 one, and I still have yet, because I haven't had time to connect the PS3 controller, which I hear is really makes the system incredible.
Yeah, if you're thrown off like I am once in a while by the letters, because it actually has the Ouya letters for the button. So when you're telling me hit Y, I'm like thinking of the Xbox Y and not the Y on Ouya, which I think is in a completely different spot. But it does pair the Ouya controller pairs with Bluetooth. So there are people using the PS3 controller to do that, and I think you can use a wired Xbox controller, correct?
I have not tried that either because they only have one port on it, and that port has the USB stick that has the games. Yeah. So I should try that and maybe just play one of the stock Android games. I need to figure out how to transfer the games to the onboard storage.
Well, there's a games folder, so I'm assuming that's inside the onboard storage, which is only 8 gigabytes. So I recommend you take a dedicated, I didn't get one yet, get a dedicated 8, 16, 32 gig flash drive and keep it in there all the time and only pull it out when you're going to put a ROM on it. One thing I've looked at here, I assume you can plug your Android phone into this because there's a micro USB too. What would you do? Would it mirror?
Well, I know you can connect Bluetooth-wise, so I don't even know if you need to connect.
But it's got a micro slot too.
It does. Yeah, it does. I wonder, can you get a USB to micro USB, and then I could do that with the controller?
That's a good point. I wonder if that would... I'm not sure. I'm going to have to see how they're using it. Maybe they just put the micro in there because it's an Android box, so why not have it and set up for some future connectivity with your phone? That would be cool. But then again, the micro goes... Yeah, the micro would go into your phone, not the box.
Right, but I mean, to go forward, here's another comment we have from Justin in the chat room. He says, I think you've sold me in the Ouya on the broadcast. Sounds like to me it can only get better from here. And that's the one thing that you and me are both saying, is that if this is basically like Rev A of this, I mean, I don't see how it could get better or not.
Yeah, one thing, and it has nothing to do with the actual box, but some of these Kickstarters, and we're not going to talk about it on the show, but Pebble announced that they were going to be in Best Buys now on July 7th. Now, that mirrors what happened here. It started out as a Kickstarter, and a lot of pre-orders. And this is what we've seen a lot of complaints about on Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere where people can comment, that the Ouya pre-orders are still not fully fulfilled, just like the Pebble Watch. Yet I walked right in the Best Buy and they picked this up. So that has a lot of the early adopters in the back. I am serious. That has a lot of the backers very upset because I just walked in, called them, said, oh, it's a Best Buy. I looked, saw my closest Best Buy. I could have bought it right there and picked it up from online, but I walked in. There was like 3 or 4 on the shelf. I grabbed it, checked out, and I was playing games in like 20 minutes. But these people that initially backed it with the perk of getting one of these are still not receiving their pre-orders. So that's kind of, I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Colin? That's kind of crappy in a way.
What? My thoughts on?
Well, the people that backed it initially, and you're the people that backed it, you got yours, but there's people that still didn't get it. But somebody like me can walk into a retail store and get it before one of the early backers does.
Yeah, I got a email from the CEO lady and about that, and she was totally embarrassed. I mean, it sucks. And if I were one of those people, I would demand my money back and go to a Best Buy and pick one up immediately. From what I hear though now, aren't they like pretty hard to get?
They're getting hard to get. I don't know what happened. I know what it had a lot to do with. I just spilled iced tea all over it, but hopefully it won't be broken. What was I saying? Yeah, well, I think the update on Monday that you told me about, that you did the video on up on T4 Show videos on YouTube, that I think sold a lot of people. That's what caused the wave, because it was in Best Buys, but nobody's really touching it. But the emulators, I don't know if Plex was there previous to Monday. All these things they recently added. This must have been the biggest update on the system, because like you said, now people are buying them. Now they're off. There were 3 or 4 left when I got them, and I assume they're not available now. Hopefully, because people watch the show.
I think they're hard to get now, and if you haven't got one, I highly suggest. I mean, here's another person in the chat room. Firefighter 1560 says he said he heard about transferring the games to the Ouya using Dropbox, but he hasn't done it himself. But he bought his on Amazon last week, so it looks like they're available there.
I'm looking right now. Amazon Prime $99.99, and if you want it by Monday, if you're a Prime member, order it in the next 44 hours. So you order it by Friday, and you'll get it. Go to gfq.com or guys, is it gfq.com?
It's guysfromqueens.com or gfqnetwork.com.
Sorry. I always get it wrong. There's an Amazon banner there, and you can support the GFQ network by clicking on that, and they get a little bit of something for buying your Ouya through the GFQ Amazon store. So I think I have 30 days to return this, but if they keep going in this direction, this is going to be possibly called my portable gaming. If I'm in a hotel or going through hotels, I could conceivably bring this before the Vita.
Really?
Well, it's not as accessible, but how many times if I know like this weekend I'll be in England, and I'm hoping I'm going to call the hotel, actually see if they have an open HDMI slot on the, or if they have HDMI on the I'll tell you the telly, I was going to say the television. Yeah, I'm going to bring it. Look at how, yeah, exactly. I'm getting ready. But really, look at this. Besides the controller, how portable is this to just take around? And it's only a power cord, and I already got the USB on my keychain, so I really think this is, it's not technically a portable game, but it's still very, very, easy to carry around and use if you ever, you could bring it over SA, and it's not even DRMs. You don't have to worry about paying a fee or anything like that.
Right, and that's the one thing we were talking about is that I want to at least get a second controller, so it basically brings back the whole couch co-op. So we definitely want to try that.
Yeah, one of my favorite games, Fire Pro. If you play it, and it is out, you have it for. I tried it for Super NES. It's okay. You can also, and we got to try this. I don't know if there's an emulator up there called for Saturn. I used to like the Fire Pro on Saturn or even other Saturn games. There's also Die Hard. There's a few games I haven't even played yet. Remember Die Hard?
What,
for the PS1?
For the PS1, yeah.
And Sega CD. Or Sega.
Oh, there's Sega CDs? I would love to get into that. There's some great ones like Shenmue I never got to play.
I played that. That was very good. But there's ROMs for every system up on ColeROM.com. So if we can find the emulator for it, maybe it'll add more of those. I don't even know if they exist. I know I'm not being greedy. We got Super NES, we got Genesis, Nintendo, PlayStation 1, original Nintendo, which I played Pro Wrestling with Starman. That was pretty cool. You taught me how to do that. Oh, Telly, do you have the controller near you?
Yes. Yeah.
Show everybody something they may miss that I missed forever when you're trying to pick the Genesis and the Nintendo games, right?
Right. Some of the, I guess, emulators have the way you get to your games. When you say load game, it'll just immediately bring you up to the SD card, which is very strange what that brings you up. So here you have this right here is basically like a touchpad on a laptop. So you need to actually use this to navigate to the it's basically like a down arrow and go to the root directory of the Ouya. So then you can pick the USB drive if your games are coming from a USB drive. So keep in mind that is like a trackpad, and this is how you can navigate to where you need to go most of the times.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a touchpad until, 2 days ago?
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's a buy. I can't see it being anything less than a must-buy in the future unless they shut it down. But it looks at a Play Store, which just emulates what all the Android-style apps. I don't see it happening anytime soon, or I'll just never update it. I'll always have them. I'll be fine with that. But we're going to go to another thing that it might be a Rev A device, might be the first step in some really great stuff going on. I mean, you and I have looked at home automation for quite a long time, and it really, smart home and all the other things that were expensive and clunky required somebody to come in and do installation. But I really do think I did a video, about 2 or 3 weeks ago on the Belkin Wemo. And you want to talk about something that I think has made home automation, at least on the consumer level, on the everyday Apple user with iOS level, I really do think it's brought it up to a plug-and-play smart home at this point, don't you?
Yeah, they have made it like a plug-and-play type of thing. Yeah, exactly.
But you just got it.
What?
You got the Wemo. Tell us about it.
Oh, was it plug and play? No, I had to look up a video. Actually, no, I thought you were talking about the Ouya still. Wemo. I picked it up. And it came, the package I got, and oh great, John's showing it, so I don't have to show anything. The package I got came with 2 of these little switches, I guess they're called, and I also saw they're at Home Depot right now on sale for, I thought it was $29.99. They're $39.99. I got a package that was $80, so it's pretty much the same deal at Costco. And basically, if you have anything, and what I'm using them for now, and you can speak on the things you're using them for, but I'm using them just for light switches. I have in my new house, I have a lot of light switches that are basically in areas where I have to walk around things or go around to the side, and then I have to flick a switch. Now I have 2 of them, and I have 2 lights set up, and now I can control those lights anywhere. And the best is when I'm working downstairs in the basement late at night and all the lights are off, I can open my phone, go to the Wemo app, pop on my office light, and then I immediately have light on the 2nd floor, so when I come upstairs, I can actually see and not bump into things.
Yeah, there's a basic use for me, even though I have it set up on time stuff. It's going to bed and then forgetting to shut the light off in the living room, which I think everybody does. And you can really do that right from your phone. You can do it from anywhere in the world. If I'm in England and I said, I forgot to shut whatever is plugged in, if it's a coffee pot, if it's an iron, if it's whatever, I can see through the app if there's a green light around the edge of the power button that it's on and shut it off as long as I have an internet connection anywhere in the world. Now, you're right. On the setup, it's a little clunky at first. It has to kind of, I don't know if it's a proper term, has to kind of catch the network, it seems like, and then it downloads a firmware update, and then it works perfectly fine. I mean, ever since I set up the switch in the living room, it hasn't been an issue at all. Now, the motion stuff, I had a motion switch or motion detector with the switch. That can be a little clunky because the cord is kind of long, and I'm trying to figure out, unless you go to sit down, or if JMav was a newborn, going into the room and walking by the lamp with the motion detector as you're holding the baby, that would be a good application for that. So you don't have to physically reach for anything to turn the light on. So that's pretty cool right there. Now, you blew my mind with a certain site that the Wemo works with just insanely well, and that was IFTTT.com, and you can set up, I mean, the possibilities are endless of what you can set up using the Wemo. Have you tried to use anything, any recipes with IFT?
It's on my to-do list to do tonight, actually, but that site was pretty much, besides talking to you about it, was probably one of the other. But just this whole site, just seeing all the different things you can do with that. I mean, having it on there that you can basically automate things is incredible. Not only do you have the switch on there, but they do have things for the motion. Like right here, it says one thing it says turn on lights when the sun sets. So basically, I assume that it's going to basically look at your nightly time that it says the sun's going to set, and then your lights turn on. There's another one that says use Siri to turn lights on and off.
I tried that.
It doesn't work?
Didn't really work. Siri, it's a Siri problem. It's not the Wemo.
Another popular one is turn on lights every time you check in at home. I don't check in at home because I don't think that's important. Here, this is one I asked you about. This says log electricity usage on your calendar or on a Google spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's the one I'm interested in. If you have if you don't have central air and you have a standalone air conditioner, that is the one that really gives you an idea of how much power is my air conditioner using or any other appliance that you have right there. So, IFTTT or IFT, I guess they call it, you don't need to have a Wemo. There's recipes here like definitely some really good stuff. I like this little one right here. If you read a Kindle, if you have a Kindle Fire, or if you just read Kindle books, when a new book is added to the Kindle top 100 free computer and technology ebooks, email me. That's pretty cool right there.
Yeah, I basically set up that for Steam sales. Anytime a game on Steam goes on sale, it emails me.
Yeah. I got one that probably everybody can use who has Dropbox and Facebook. It's my favorite one probably that happens automatically. If anyone tags me in a picture in Facebook, it automatically uploads that picture to Dropbox.
Oh, wow. That's
cool. A great way to archive
so photos. That way you can have all your archive. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one.
There's also another one too. Say right here, save all your Gmail attachments to Dropbox. I mean, there's so many different things. That's one that I just saw right here, and that's pretty cool because if you're getting sent contracts and everything like that, it will automatically throw those on your Dropbox. I think that's
so like anything that basically taps into this site, such as these Belkin the Wemo and the Wemo Motion, I mean, I'm all for it because I love that you can just basically, and I'm really getting into home automation because I think that as future is coming, I think that's going to get more and more popular.
I agree. I mean, I added more channels. It looks like there's more stuff going up. I'm going to check one more. I do have used Siri to turn lights on and off. The Siri Wemo SMS. I got the log electricity usage. I got the now let's back up a second. The Wemo also has its own rules, much like IFT. Now you can set it to go on and off at a certain time. There's really easy rules within the app that make it to where you don't have to go to a site, sign up, log in, do all that stuff. Think of recipes. You can go right into the app and that works flawlessly as well once you set it up. So, I mean, you don't have to do all the stuff we're talking about. We might be kind of like confusing people. Just go into the app, try those rules. When you want to get a little bit brave, this is a very good way to try to automate your life and try to get everything where you need it.
I agree.
I got to get a few more of those.
Yeah, I think as I go somewhere and I see one out, I'll just pick up because that's what's great about it is that you can. I believe there's not a limit of how many you can add to your system.
No, I don't know if there is or not. I'm not sure. I don't think anybody's going to use as many as we're talking about the Philips Hue lights. Now that's like 10 or 20 on one of those. It's a center, kind of like a central router or Wi-Fi device for the bulbs. But we're talking about a pack of 300 for pack of 3 for 200. And how many Wemos can you buy for that 200 without needing its own little Wi-Fi station?
Yeah, right. And now if Suncast goes to my shot, I don't know if you can see it because I can't see my camera. No, you can't. Okay. So I wish you could see that, but here, watch how great it is. So my office light is connected to this. Look at that. I mean, it's like instant. It's
very
awesome.
good. There's really not much of it. You know what's good too? When you're not in your Wi-Fi network, it'll work by spinning a little bit and then show you. It gives you kind of like a feedback of how much latency to turn the light on and off. You know what I mean? Like it's not just going to hit it and then you have to say, well, did it turn on or not? It gives you a status bar like in yellow, and then it'll finish the process of contacting the Wemo switch. So it works really well. But one thing I'm probably not going to buy because I rent right now. I don't own a home. You bought an electronic door lock, which they...
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, let me
They had to drive an hour back and forth to get some stuff too.
Yeah, I got 3%. The first one they brought over to my house didn't work. But here it is. This is the Quickset Smart Code Touchpad Electronic Deadbolt. This is the one that's currently installed. What's great is, of course, I can close the door and hit the lock button, and that locks my door instantly. Okay. Now, of course, it always has a manual key that you can use, and it also has a manual deadbolt on the back. And then when I want to come in, I type in the 4-digit code that I've set, and voila, I can be let in my thing. But also what comes with it is that it works directly with, and of course, you won't be able to see the screen. Oh yeah, you can sort of see the screen.
Yeah.
You'll see here, it says that right now my door is unlocked right now. Oh no, sorry, I had to refresh. My door is locked, but I could basically hit unlock, which I'm not going to do right now because my wife will flip out, and tell it to send the command. Here, I'll show you what that does. So basically I did that, and it says right now, send the unlock command, and I can either say send or no. I send it. It takes like 15 to 20 seconds for that, and I'll hear it actually happen. So like today, my parents were stopping by. I was out running some errands. They said, hey, I'm at my front door. I said, hold on. I went boom, boom, and unlocked it for them. I could also set up special codes for each person. So I could have gone in. They have a website. It's at alarm.com. And you can go there and basically set up each user to have their own code. So you could give them a code. So as JMAP gets older, he would have his own code, and I could call him up and say, all right, I want you home by midnight. Then when he comes in, types on his code, or he gets smart and he uses his key, regardless of that, every action throughout my whole house is recorded, and I could check in the morning what time he actually came home, and it will give me up to the minute of that. So, and basically I have the system on here right now. Right now it's disarmed, but when we go to sleep at night, we can arm it. Not only do I have it as a regular arm there's arm stay, which means we're inside the house, but it's armed, and arm away, which when we're not here, and then it uses the motion detectors. So I have never grown up in a house that had a security system. You hear a lot of people have mixed feelings on security systems, but I decided, hey, we're going to do it because we're basically one of the newer homes in this place. So there's a lot of people in and out of this neighborhood and working. So it just creates the extra safety, and it acts as a deterrent, because the sign out front obviously is what I really paid for. Because if you see that, but yeah, it's cool that it now works. I mean, there's an iPad app, there's an iPhone app. Also, you can control the whole thing on the actual website, and that's where you can go in. You can change passwords. You can set. It even has rules, so you could say, all right, at 11 p.m., always arm my system. Or at 7 a.m., I want to have, or if my wife always leaves at 7:15, I could say, unlock the door exactly at 7:15. So then she doesn't have to worry about using hands. It's pretty much hands-free. So the company I went with was Vintage. I'm sure there's many others out there that all use the new technologies, but I think if you're someone who you're going to be staying in, like you said, you're in an apartment right now, so it's really not an option. But when you get into that place, you're going to stay for many years. I think it's definitely something you should invest in. And the monitoring rates are reasonable. Yes, you have to pay a lot at the beginning when you pay for the equipment and the manpower to install it all, but I believe it's $29.99 a month to monitor it. I think that's a good deal.
Yeah. We do have an alarm here, but at the same time, I've thought about doing the lock, because like you said, if a maintenance guy comes, even though he has the keys, I can, but there's some kind of legal thing there if I switch the locks on the apartment. But I've thought about getting the Nest thermostat, but I've heard mixed reviews about that not working or being a gimmick or whatever. I don't know, but it really, that's a point too down here in Florida where the Nest could come in handy, because it's a hit or miss with thermostat. Yeah,
where you live, I think it really. Where does BW Feldy in the chat is saying he loves his Nest? Isn't he also in Florida as well?
Oh, he's in South Florida. Yeah, so that's a good.
So for me here, it's like, I don't know. All I really need. All thermostats now are programmable. All it takes is for you to have to read the manual, and you can pretty much set it up. So yes, it would be nice to also have it on here. Like, I'm not able to control my thermostat from my phone, and I'm loving more and more to get here. But also keep this in mind. Now, I have all this stuff here that you're able to access my house here, but I have a passcode on my phone. I also have a passcode to get into the app. You really have to think about security with your phone then when you're doing things like this, of course.
Yeah. Oh, you got a lot of stuff this week. I'm looking at the show notes. You also got a Bluetooth speaker at Costco. I remember you calling me about this. Man, it's a big week. It's like Christmas. You got a bunch
it
of
is
stuff.
Like Christmas. I need to get the things. This is probably not going to get a lot coming up though. But this is the Sony BTX 500. What I needed here, I have this new desk, and the desk is pretty much sitting in the middle of the room. So I have, and it has power built into it, but I didn't really want to have wires, but I needed sound, and I wanted to listen to Spotify. So there were many options of different Bluetooths, and they range from anywhere from $40 up to like $300. I believe the Bose one is maybe $250. But I saw this one. This was on sale at Costco. Now it's still a hefty price tag at $180. But it was marked down from $270, I believe, on Amazon. And it's great. I have to admit, they definitely came up with, the sound is awesome on it. You basically charge it in the wall, so it has a rechargeable battery in it. I'll let you know how long it lasts, but it's smart enough that it puts it to sleep when it's not being used. So that's great. It also has NFC built in, so if I was still real big into Android, supposedly you can just basically set up the NFC and tap it, and it would then be connected to your device. But I'm using it because the main thing I've gotten is whenever I've used any like type of Bluetooth speaker with a Retina display, with a computer, I thought the speaker sounded awful. And this one was supposedly designed with computers in mind, and I'm loving it. It's also, when I have my phone connected to it, it also acts as a giant speaker phone, which you can answer the calls. There's a button to answer calls. It has multiple sounds. It has one that's really bassy, and then it has almost like a sound bar simulated surround sound that it has on it. You can also plug audio in if you wanted to, but yeah, so far I've had this for 2 days, so I'll come back to it, but it's a great thing, and this just sits on my desk. And like right now, I have, of course, sound is coming through my headphones for the show, but when I want to use it, I'll just go up here, I'll pick the device from the Bluetooth menu, and it's connected. And then if I close my laptop, I take it downstairs, it's already disconnected. When I come back up and I'm sitting right here at the desk and I pop the lid open, it immediately is connected. So if you're looking for a Bluetooth speaker and you don't want to have wires, but you want good sound, I would highly recommend that. We'll have it in the show notes for you. Yeah,
it's $270 Amazon Prime. $180 is a good deal, especially if you're going to go pick it up in person, not have to wait for it to be shipped. So that's not too bad. I got the Logitech one, which is still like $60 or $70, but I take it to the gym. This is a little bit big, but for really good sound, I'm looking for a speaker right here in the studio that I can use to listen to music. After wearing headphones all the time, it's starting to affect my hearing. So I don't know.
And sometimes with headphones, it's like, I don't know, like I'm someone, when I used to have to go to a job every day and there were people around me, it's like there's so many times when I had to get up and go to the printer and I take the headphones off, or there are times when you just get sweaty in your ears just by the different brands. So I wanted something that was pretty much like hands-free but still had the good sound.
Yeah. If somebody lives at Costco, now Costco, they don't know if they're going to have the stock in Maryland. Or if I go to Florida, they might not have the speakers. So just check your local Costco, because they just have what they have, and you can go there next week, call them, and they could be gone forever. That's the way they get. All right. So we have two questions. Before we get to the Netflix picks of the week, the two questions we covered the Facebook comments because we answered a lot of questions about the Ouya. There's been a lot of questions all week via social media. So hopefully we answer all of them. If not, leave a comment on the blog post and let us know. But the first one, I don't know if you can answer this or Suncast. I certainly can. Kyle Duffield, simple question. Windows, and let's let the chat room chime in too. Simple question. Windows 8.1 win, no pun intended, or fail. By the way, Kyle Duffield got a shout out on Mac Break Weekly. I listened to it. He did. Totally. Wow. Yeah.
The guy is incredible at social media. The best.
Yep. He's moving up. So 8.1 win or fail. I can't assume it's any more of a fail than 8 was, because they returned the start button, right? They brought it back.
Yeah, they brought it back, which I've been using a program to bring it to me. Yeah, I really can't comment on it because I haven't used it or seen anything about it. My Windows machine is just a Steam box. So,
you don't have it installed or anything?
No, I do not.
Okay.
So, what about you? What do you think?
This is an interesting subject because in some ways I think it does do some improvement to Windows 8. So I don't know that you can classify it as a fail, but personally, my personal opinion of Windows 8 is not very high right now.
Wow.
My mom just got a new laptop, and then, of course, it has Windows 8 on it, so I've been helping her along with it. So I've gotten a little bit more used to Windows 8, and there's little things here and there that just really bug me, and I'll give you two examples. Okay. The first of which is when I was setting up her printers, and the way that they've changed setting up printers now, I think, is more difficult. A lot of things are more difficult with Windows 8, in my opinion, but printers especially because I do a lot of networking, so the printers are networked. So I had to go and they don't necessarily always pick them up when you do a search for it. So you always have to do it manually. But here's the thing is when you go and add a printer in Windows 8 now, it doesn't give you the option to do it manually. You actually have to go to a different add printer section called Advanced Printers and Devices or something like that in order to add it manually. So I thought that was strange. And then the second thing that I found very strange today was that I was trying to set up some Skype or tried Skype on Windows 8. And I ran into this issue where, of course, I have her laptop set up with a Microsoft account and it's set up under her email address, her Outlook.com email address. And I just wanted to sign in with my own Skype ID just to try it out and to see what it was like on Windows 8. The problem is that as soon as you start signing in, it says, you're almost done, just one more step. Would you like to, we're going to merge your ID, your Skype ID with your Microsoft account ID, which I thought was very stupid because I don't want to do that. I just want to sign in with that ID. I don't want it associated with my mom's email address or Microsoft account. I just want to sign in with it, and I just don't understand why it doesn't give you an option to skip that. If I had clicked connect, my Skype ID would have been attached to her Microsoft account, which is completely unnecessary.
Right. That is very strange.
I had a similar thing where I had somebody I took to Best Buy on Sunday last week that talked about, hey, I want a laptop. I'm tired of my desktop. I'm talking about a 10-year-old Dell, by the way. So she, the older lady, and she goes, I want to get a Windows 8 laptop. And I said, are you sure you want to get a Windows 8 laptop? I mean, you've been using the iPhone for the past year or so. You're comfortable with it. Are you sure you just don't want an iPad? And long story short, I took her through the whole thing all week, emailing different models to her, smaller 11-inch model, 15-inch, and then the giant 17-inch laptops. And it was funny because I brought her to a touchscreen device first, which, by the way, is the only way to really use Windows 8, in my opinion. It's just a nightmare otherwise. So I took her to the touchscreen. But
there's still so many laptops now that don't have touchscreens.
Yeah, I mean, the OS itself is really not great anyway, but you need to touch it to really make it efficient in any way, even a little efficient. So she wanted a touchscreen one of them. Thank God she did, because when she started touching that one, we went to the other ones, and I told her this isn't a touchscreen. She wanted to touch the screen, but she had to use the crappy trackpad or the arrows, and she got increasingly more frustrated. And then I said to her, okay, well, let's go look at the iPad. And, I knew from the beginning, web browsing, email, some other stuff, and also the printing, which I'm going to end up with the story. So she went over the iPad, started playing with it. Wow, this is so easy. It's just like a big iPhone. I'm like, yeah, it's great. I go, again, what do you need it for? Blah, 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 everything. Thank God Best Buy had one of the AirPrint printers hooked up. So basically I said, well, let's see. I go, here's how you print from an iPad if you're worried about printing a document or a website for whatever. And it air printed to one of the printers. And she was just amazed. She's like, I don't even know why I want one of these laptops because, I can just do it on the iPad. But don't I need this? Don't I need that? And I was like, let's just bring it home. You got 30 days to try it out.
Right.
Brought it home. And I said, okay, with a Windows laptop, you just said it, John. This is what we're all going to need to do with each app, with each thing, with each email account. I go watch on the iPad, log in into your iCloud account, just like Colin did with the iPhone 5, give your password, boom, everything's right there. You're done. That's it. Just got to download some apps or turn on automatic app downloads, and you're done. That's it. She was done within 5-10 minutes. That's the power and the difference between even an iOS device compared to a full-blown Windows 8 computer. That's just my thought on it. Just seeing that throughout the day Sunday last week was like, wow. One couldn't be so far off from the other.
I mean, with that use case, you're totally right with that. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's just little things here and there with the operating system. The way it works if you're not using a touch screen, it can be very cumbersome. The way they've changed words, and I do think that Windows 8.1 does improve that. And I'll give you an example of that as well. Is the way it is now, searching is a pain in the butt because you search, which is nice. You can type anywhere and it'll just start searching as long as you're in that Metro interface. And it'll start bringing up some search results. But if you don't realize it, you have to actually click on each category to bring up the results for each category. Whereas in Windows 8.1, it'll just automatically show you all that stuff, which is what I'm used to now. If you hit the start button, it brings up that start menu and you start typing in the search field, it'll just show you everything there, which I don't understand why they did it the way they did it. It's very bizarre the way they did some things in Windows 8.
If I was going to be a hardcore gamer, that would be the only, or some heavy Steam gamer, where I wanted everything available to me, not just on the Mac. That's the only reason I would get a Windows 8 laptop, to do that. There's no other reason, productivity wise, or for my own sanity, that I would want a Windows 8 the computer. Maybe for other things, for media and stuff like that, but I don't see a use for it, especially when I saw what I could do with just that iPad or the iDevice. It made me want to go out and get an AirPrint printer for under $100.
Yeah.
And I love mine. Not just you, but anybody with an iOS device logged into the Wi-Fi network can print to that printer. That's true plug-and-play network printing, and that's an opposite experience than what your mom went through, right, Suncast?
Yeah, and there's still one other thing that there's a lot of things that they still need to improve. Ease of access for Metro 8 is different than ease of access for desktop mode. There's this ease of access option in Metro 8. Yeah, in Metro interface to change the size of things to make them bigger if you have like older eyes. Because in Windows 7, you just change the DPI, right? From 100% to 125%. But that doesn't affect the Metro modern interface. There's a different ease of access for that. But it doesn't work with all displays. So they have that option there, but in a lot of displays, it's actually disabled because for whatever reason, it's not compatible. It doesn't even tell you why it's not compatible. It just says this option is not compatible with your display. And it's just like, well, then how are you supposed to make it bigger if you need it bigger?
This is Colm. This sounds like the beginning of the show with the Android and tinkering around and doing all this stuff into the iOS and just logging in and starting to use your device.
You're totally right. It sounds exactly like that.
It's too many things to set it up the way that it needs to be set up for users. And yes, of course, Microsoft always tries to please everybody out there, but they've changed it in such a way where it's not really set up for anybody at this point.
So, win or fail?
Vote. It's fail to me.
Personally, I think it's a fail, but I still think that 8.1 is still an improvement over Windows 8.
Here we go. This is why I didn't know what kind of device he used. On the fence. I say it's still a fail when you see the amazing. It's so fresh in my mind. Just to close it off of what I could have been. I could have still been helping this woman set up her Windows 8 laptop today, 4 days later, making trips over there, and she's enjoying using technology, which is the whole point of this. So,
well, hey, I also want to speak on the AirPrint, Michael. One thing that I really even better than printing is that nowadays a lot of people like not only printing, but people like your insurance company. They need for this alarm system. I had to send them the certificate to show them I get it, so I get a discount. What's great is I pop the certificate right on. I have the Air printer is also a scanner, and I pop it on there. Then I open my iPhone and I have that app View Scan, and it finds the Air printer on my network. It scanned it right in perfectly, and I just emailed it straight from my phone and did the entire process from my phone. So that having a scanner on that and with the printer, it just makes it an unbelievable purchase.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Canon Pixma, which is like $109, and that one, that's been the top rated one, and it doesn't eat up the ink like the HP ones that I've researched. Yeah, so that's even better. That's amazing, because now you don't need the antiquated fax machine anymore to try to scan and fax or do anything. You can put it right on your iDevice and throw it out in the email, and it's better to keep track of it that way too. Then you got the if thing we talked about earlier. Here's how seamless it can be, that will take that attachment and put it up in Dropbox for you in the cloud, so you have a record.
Exactly. Yep. Oh, what's great about this app too, it actually says that. Do you want to put it in Dropbox? Do you want to save it to your camera roll? There's like all these options after you scan some. I wrote it in the chat room for everyone there. But I can show you. I mean, you're not going to be able to see it, but you can see it. It'll keep it in there almost like iPhoto with all your different scans in there, and then I can pick it right now. Let's see. Let me see all the options it gives me. Of course, it's not going to do it.
Of course.
I can't bring that up.
Never does it live, does it?
It never does it live. But there's a ton of options that you can do with it. But I use it just to scan something and send an email. It's
Demo fail.
Yeah.
Now, is there a Mac client? I'm looking at view scans coming up for Mac. Is there
it is.
It's for Mac too.
I find it easier just to do it on the phone, because everyone always just wants you to email it out. And if I had to scanning things and then making it a PDF.
I'm looking at it
and you can pick too. That's the other option. It lets you pick if you want to do a JPEG or a PDF of the scan.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: $5, $4.99. It's got all 5 stars
it's incredible. It's an incredible app.
It's really, really good. Scan business cards, scan magazine covers, whatever you want. It gives you the. I like this. I think I'm going to pick up an air printer, even though I don't.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things that makes so much more convenient in your household, and just
you can put it anywhere.
You guys are selling me on this now.
Yeah, all you need is a power source. Like, we had ours for the longest time just in our kitchen, because that seemed to be the place where I was the most of the time and my wife was most of the time. So might as well have it in a place where it's just so easy to go right to. Why have it in the office? Just because we've always been accustomed to that.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need one of those Airport Expresses anymore to plug in the USB printer that didn't work very well. So that's good. Yeah, I'm gonna look at.
Let me know which one you get, Michael.
Yeah,
I want to know too, because I could use an upgrade. I have that HP one. I can print 20 pages and then it says out of ink.
Wait a minute, what are we buying?
An AirPrint printer. Yeah, so the Canon Pixma, it's $109. I researched it all day today, so I'll look at my email, the email I sent to that woman, and I'll copy it and send it to you guys.
I actually just hooked up a printer like 30 minutes ago. I have this colored laser printer.
Voice of God.
He's here, and he apparently has an old HP. So I'm actually, maybe you guys could help me out. I'm looking to be able to do wireless printing with this thing, but it's not a wireless printer.
There's an adapter you can buy, but really at this stage of the game, you're probably better off just getting a new printer. You used to have those print adapters. Remember that? Colm?
Oh yeah, those. What was that?
Yeah, they were like
the wireless print server.
Right. Yeah. That's what it's called.
Yeah, you don't need that. That's clunky as all. I mean, it's built into iOS. You're better off just starting over. Actually, I'm going to put it in the chat room real quick if I'm allowed to put anything in there. This is the one.
No, you're not allowed to even talk.
And they're cheap. I mean, all the air printers, they range from what, $99?
Yeah.
Don't they all range from like $99 to like $150? Like, they're cheap. Does this one have a scan? Yeah, it has to have a scanner.
Scanner, copier, and fax, like you'll need it. It's $130. I believe Canon, the Pixma series, has sort of surpassed a lot of these HP models. I've seen a lot. Canon and Epson seem to be, in what I've seen in my research, the top two. And when you talk about AirPrint, for some reason, and we're kind of going to the rat hole on it, but for AirPrint, it really is still pretty limited. It's not across the board. You got to really make sure it says AirPrint, and I made sure it says it. Print features include AirPrint, the first thing.
Wow, you could do multiple-page scanning. This is what I need, because mine is just a flatbed scanner on top, so I have to do one page at a time. This does 35 sheets at a time.
I do some pretty good research once in a while.
This is pretty good.
Doing all that. Yeah, so I'm going to order that. Amazon Prime, GFQ, Amazon Store, like we said before, would be a good place to go. No tax, Prime shipping. It's a good deal. So here's a question before we get to the Netflix thing that might spend a little bit of time, but I'm not sure. Lance at Lance Graphics asked us, excuse me, I have one question regarding the rumors on the cheaper iPhone that he keeps hearing about. No, Mac Rumors, I was looking at it today. Mac Rumors addressed it, and I don't know about these colors. I mean, people are making fun of these colors. It's crazy. Lime green.
I don't believe this rumor at all. I think those are just iPods. Do you think they would do this? I do not think they would do that.
What, different colors, cheaper iPhone?
Yes. The cheaper iPhone is always the last generation.
Yeah, it's weird how they're talking about. They've been talking about this cheaper iPhone, but maybe it's just been masked as the last generation because the way the tiers go right now, iPhone 5, when the iPhone 5S comes out for the $199, $299, $399 under contract, the iPhone 5 will drop to $99 and the 4S will become free. So why would you need to they're all quality devices, by the way. Why would you want to put out the plastic back or go back to the 3GS type of thing when, of course, you have an iPod Touch with different colors? And this is sort of the white and black type of model tier that they have going on. Right. I don't know. I don't know why this rumor keeps coming up. I don't know if they're going to just add colors for the sake of adding colors. I can't see it. Even for a kid, you can get a kid an iPhone. And how are they going to make it cheaper? What are they going to do? The camera already has a standard to it. Are you going to make it any worse than the iPod Touch camera, which now the camera's removed, right, on this generation?
Or it's not on the back, correct?
There's a version of it. So
yeah, I don't get it. I think it's a rumor.
I think it's a wasted rumor when all the other stuff going around about the new iPhone, the high-end iPhone, maybe a new iPad with the Retina, not the Retina, the Mini style of design. I think that's a lot better rumors than this. I mean, the Mac Pro rumors are still going strong on that, so I don't know. I tell you what.
What about the TV? The TV rumors are finally over?
No, the TV rumors aren't over because there's a rumor from Mac Rumors today saying, I'm going to scroll down to it, saying that they might have a deal with Time Warner Cable, which it's not really the biggest cable company in the country. It says, according to a report from Bloomberg, Apple and Time Warner Cable are close to completing a deal that will bring TWC app to the Apple TV. Oh, different app. See, this is where we get confusing. I thought it was the actual television. It's just bringing the app.
Yeah, and it seems like they're doing more and more bringing these apps to the actual Apple TV. So why would they actually make a screen? I just don't see why they would do that.
There's no reason to. Why do it when everybody else? Why bother making hardware that you really, the way that the profit margins and how often people buy televisions is nowhere near even computers. People buy computers as often as they do, if not more often, than a phone. I think the tier is like maybe every 6 months to a year, the professional buys a new Mac product, like a laptop or iMac. Maybe every year to 2 years, they buy a new phone. I mean, when do you ever say, my God, I need to have a new TV every year or two? You sort of said that with the Vizio, but you can, if that Vizio is still going strong after 2 or 3 years and there's nothing really crazy out there, are you really going to, and 4K TVs are like $5,000, aren't you going to hold on to the Vizio?
Yeah, no, the next TV I get would be a 4K when they are at the prices that current TVs are at now. There's no way I'm going to drop money on like 4K on a TV. Or, that's funny, 4K.
Oh, come on. You so would.
No.
No. Yeah, see, this is going to be another one of those comb flips.
I don't think
I'll side with him because he just bought it. He just bought a new house and he furnished it and did all that stuff. I don't think a 4K TV is in his near future.
There's no content. What would be the purpose?
Hey, if they had it at Costco, that might be a different story because Costco sells just about everybody.
Right. I agree with that.
4K's, I mean, you got to really listen. We were having the same discussion about 3D. And look where 3D is right now. 3D TVs are about the price of a Vizio TV right now. So I would say if you're really into 3D, which I don't see why, unless you watch Blu-rays, there are 3D which are amazing. But why? Yeah, I mean, 3D. All right, here's what tells the story on 3D, and then we'll get to the Netflix stuff. ESPN shutting down the 3D channel. And if you can't get sports in 3D, what the hell's the big deal with the TV then?
Yeah,
that's what
that was the one network where if that caught on, then we might be talking about more and more channels. But if that's going away, every network's going to be like, well, it didn't work for ESPN, so why should we bother?
Yeah, they're probably still trying to make their money back on that because that's a lot of investment in cameras, technology, and all that stuff to make it 3D.
Mm-hmm. The problem was they didn't have an HGTV 3D channel. Let's be realistic here.
Now you sound like you're talking about Windows 8 again. You're HDTV 3D. Oh my God, that's so not catchy. That's crazy. HDTV 3D. That's the name of the episode. How's that?
HGTV, Home and Garden TV, where you have all those stupid property words.
We should call this episode HDTV 3D 4K and 5G. How's that? LTE. All those things together. Yeah. Ouya at the end. Hashtag Ouya.
Hashtag Ouya.
Hashtag Ouya.
No Mac Pro. I'm looking as we go along and go into the. What do you think the Mac Pro is going to cost? That's my last question. Because
It's amazing they haven't even said that yet. I think. Didn't we do this already or no? I think it's going to be $24.99.
Ooh, would that be like the Ouya model that's stripped down with no storage?
That's the lowest model, I think.
So you're saying $24.99?
Yeah, it has to be more than an iMac, and yeah, I think that's what I want. $24.99. I'm not buying it.
Thinking of this way, it is in a way kind of an iMac in the form factor. They're putting all this stuff in one type of package. Are they going to sell it with a screen or not?
Oh, I see.
No, they're going to have Thunderbolt displays. You have 6 Thunderbolts. So really, you're not talking about buying a Mac Pro for $24.99. What you're talking about is the beginning of many, many purchases to accessorize and add to that Mac Pro because you can't do anything to the inside of it. So you're going to obviously, if you're buying that machine, you have to have scratch disk for Final
Cut. So many wires.
And if you're doing streaming like we do or like Andrew's doing with the production, you're going to need a Thunderbolt device to do that. And you're going to need, and then you put it up on your desk. And how many more wires? I mean, I don't even have anything on here. And look at all the wires. You can't see it. I can. All the wires that I have just from plugging in USB stuff. Imagine if I put peripherals that have Thunderbolt, and then I got to buy the cable separately.
That's why I went with this Bluetooth speaker. I just want to get away from having wires everywhere. I hate it.
Yeah. And not pay $29 or $49 for the actual cable to connect the peripheral. That's $350. That's insane. So, it's insane. People that don't have Netflix. That's
I agree.
Insane. That's pretty insane. That's a good segue. And you can have Netflix, and you can try it for free for 30 days if you go to netflix.com/GFQ. They have 2 tiers. They have the $8 streaming plan. Obviously, you can go for DVDs too, but the streaming plan is really the way to go. $7.99 or $8, I think, even for a month. If you have many people in your house streaming all at once, no problem, because you can go up to the family plan for just a few dollars more, and you can enjoy the 2 things that Cole and I are going to talk about. Me first, I don't know how I found this, and I don't know why
I don't know how it's a different movie. That's what's even crazier.
It's different. Well, it's not. I mean, I still went with after a while, about an hour of subtitles and people screaming and vampires and stuff. I'm going to just tell you what the title is. And you'll know it says everything about the pick this week for Netflix.com/GFQ. It is Vampire Prosecutor. 12 episodes. Not one movie, 12 episodes of Vampire Prosecutor. That's the way I'm going to say it. And I'm going to read the description, and you'll be hooked. Prosecutor Min Tae Ying, damn it, whatever. Prosecutor Min transforms into a vampire, but he survives by drinking blood sold on the black market rather than by preying on the living. His special powers also give him an edge in solving murder cases. Vampire Prosecutor. I gave it 5 stars.
It looks like that was your ranking there. I saw it was a 4-star.
No, it's 3.5. Somebody tried to.
Where is this? Is this coming out of America or is this a Chinese movie?
No, this is hardcore, like screaming Korean with English subtitles.
Nice.
So if you're used to watching VLC with the hard subtitles, then this is going to be the one for you.
Nice.
And yeah, this one is actually. I will say this: it's a unique thing. I was a big fan of Forever Night. Remember that on Sci-Fi Channel?
Oh yeah.
I was really a fan of that. And this has a little bit of something like that in it. But it's very cool. It's shot in. I'd like to see how it's shot because it has that artsy type of. It's very white and apple-like. That's what it reminds me of. So you may not be able to watch it or listen to it, I should say, for an episode or two. But the way it's shot, it's a pretty good show. Vampire Prosecutor.
I'll give one episode and see what
that's about all I think you're going to take.
Yeah. I went with something that actually just got brought to Watch Instant, and that is my favorite superhero movie, even though you'll probably not agree with that as your favorite superhero movie, and that's The Avengers. It's here on streaming. I mean, I own the Blu-ray, Michael, but how much of a hassle is it to get up, put the Blu-ray in, wait like an hour for the PlayStation 3 to load up, and then pick it? Instead, now I just go hit play. Instantly, I'm watching The Avengers. I love this movie. We just found out recently that Downey Jr. signed on to do, I believe, 2 more of the Avenger movies.
That sounds
not
right.
Iron Man. Yeah. So that's great. I believe the next one comes out in 2015. So yeah, it's here. If you haven't seen it, which if you're one of the few people on the planet, now's your time. Just go to netflix.com/GFQ. But if you are someone who loves it like me and you just want to watch it while you're doing work or just to have on a movie, Avengers is here. Assemble.
Netflix is really stepping up not only with the original programming, but also getting these movies that usually took years to get up there as the old movies. Like Netflix used to be known as, hey, we got old movies and documentaries and things that you've probably seen a million times on HBO and Showtime and stuff like that. And while it didn't come out the same day as DVD or Blu-ray, it's come out pretty quickly. A movie like The Avengers, Thor's been up there for a while.
Yeah.
And then you talk about the original program like House of Cards, Hemlock Grove, and also Arrested Development. I mean, Netflix is really, it's closer than ever to helping you cut the cable. The Apple TV, not so much, because you need cable subscription to use their apps. But Netflix is really it's really a standard for me to stream everything. I can't wait till it comes to this.
Oh yeah,
Netflix
and Spotify are my 2 favorite monthly paid services for me. Covers all my entertainment. If only there was a video game streaming service.
Yeah, I was just about to say we don't get Netflix for free. By the way, we pay for the service every month, so that's that. We should note that while we're doing the read. Okay, so by the way, I forgot to mention.
Oh yeah, look at that.
New T4 Show shirt with our Twitter names on it, so you can follow us there. We'll give that at the end, but you go to prowrestlingtees.com/Stevie Richards, and the link will take you to the T4 shirts off there, off the top right there, John. So you can just.
I heard they had a great month too.
They had a really good month.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, they had a really good month over there. I have to check because they PayPal'd me something at the end of the month. I haven't checked PayPal though.
Yeah, we're still waiting. If you bought a shirt, if you're one of the listeners who bought a shirt, send us a picture of you wearing it so we can put it on our site and we can tweet it out too, because we'd love to see it.
There's a T4 Show shirt right there, and it really is. I mean, these shirts. I went through all of them. I got a couple. I got one for me, one for you with the Critical Strike shirt. I got the I'm an Xbox One. I think I got the PS4 one. Those haven't sold as much as we thought, to be honest with you, the video game ones. But I'm sure as time goes on and the debate rages, we'll hopefully have better sales, because the shirt turned out great on all of them. The Snickers shirt is really good. And what else did I get? The Dr. Stevie ones, the 2 cartoons. Right. Those look really good. He got a really unique color on the one cartoon. It's like a greenish Frankenstein, a light green. So it looks really, really good. And you're the
like
one
a military green, isn't it?
No, it's like a very light green. Not lime, but very light and soft. Like not a military one because that would be too dark. It's
like a faded out green, like a vintage look.
Yeah, it's like this green, but even lighter. Even lighter than this. Almost it seems like a tinted yellowish green. It's not bad. It doesn't look as bad as I'm making it sound.
He's got it on the screen.
Yeah, really good shirts. So I'll be in England. I'll be in England at the Comic-Con this weekend with the shirts. Not selling them, but you can buy them online. I'll have the cards ready for you so you can go right to the site, order them, and they ship all around the world. So, and please make sure to get the T4 Show shirt because this is probably the best one, I think. It has the least on it, though. I like that. My sensitive skin.
It's not overwhelming. Right.
No, it's really, really good. And the colors, the blue and the purple.
And the shirts are nice and thin?
Blue and the purple, the blue and the orange. These are upgraded ones. They use the Gildan tees for the regular ones, which people have told me are fine. But you can also upgrade to a higher quality, softer, like an American Apparel type shirt, I think for $2 to $3. I'm not sure, depending upon sizes too. So just, you just go to the site and they have a contact email. You can email them. They'll get right back to you. And if you want to customize your order, it's not a problem. So that's about it. And so I'm going to see it here. Yep. Right here. It says you can follow me at Michael Manna. You can follow him over there at Culmination. And Suncast, you're not on here. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
But you can follow you at Suncast with a K. At GFQ Network, also at Andrew Zarian, who popped in the voice and the voice on the huge sound system like the government and came in and had to say something. But that's about it. Next week will you be here?
Oh yeah, I won't be here next week, so it'll probably be you and Suncast. I'll be out in LA. So yeah, follow me on Twitter for pictures of celebrities.
Newsroom. He's going to the Newsroom season 2 premiere.
I am, thanks to my sister.
I'm jealous.
It's gonna be pretty cool. I've me and Aaron Sorkin. If you're watching, Aaron, we're hanging out.
Yeah, that show's in HD, isn't it?
Yeah, unlike the show I'm about to watch, which my wife is texting me, we need to watch Big Brother.
You know what I love, and I don't know if you saw my tweet earlier today about this. Is every time that CBS does a pan of one of their cameras in the Big Brother house, and I just can't help but thinking, you're not even in HD. You're showing off these cameras, and you're not even in HD. It's like an insult.
It's a joke.
I know. Let's not get you started again. I saw your timeline.
He hates.
We're all well aware of it. So, all right. So, yeah, join us next week. Next week we'll be live with episode number 149, and hopefully we'll have some more cool stuff to talk about the Ouya, and we'll be updating you on other reviews. And, man, we're more of a gaming and Apple show, if anything, right now. So follow us, and please just subscribe to the shows. Check them out. The new podcast app from Apple is a favorite of mine and Colm, so check it out. But for now, for everybody here at T4 Show, thank you, and best of luck in all your future Ouya endeavors.